Sage Intacct helps non-profits strengthen compliance, build influence, grow funding, and achieve mission success. It's a world-class accounting solution with excellent integration capabilities to help your organisation account and report on service provision, fund accounting, grant tracking, fundraising, and other charitable activities. It can streamline your operations and therefore reduce overhead and cost. The integration engine allows information to flow seamlessly from other applications, providing deep insight into your organisation and ensuring compliance. There is standard configuration for UK charities, including a template chart of accounts, standard reports including SOFA, and other reports for compliance and disclosures. A subscription to Sage Intacct entitles you to 4 releases a year. They just happen, and how you work today is how you work tomorrow. You get insight of what's coming along before the release happens. You can click into the release notes, and there are how-to videos that explain the new functionality. Everything is permissions based, so if you want to use that functionality, simply go into your role, tick the function, and away you go. This means that you get the benefit of the latest technology from a global software author. For example, in the not-profit sector, fund and grant accounting can be complex and rely on the correct and accurate GL postings. GL outlier detection uses machine learning to detect and flag anomalies in the GL. For example, certain types of expense that are posted to restricted funds. If this is the case, workflow will kick in and it will send that journal for journal approval. If the approver is not on the system, they will get an email, they will follow the link to the email, log on to Sage Intacct, and they will be taken to the journal approval screen. From here, they can just simply approve en masse, or they can investigate each individual journal. So by going into the journal, I can see straight away that this has been posted to restricted funds. It's rather a large amount. It's gone to the main charity against the Scottish region, and it's fixed assets, land and buildings. If this is correct, I can approve and it will no longer become an outlier. It will learn from that posting a transaction route. If I decline it, it will stay an outlier. I can also go in and edit the transaction and change any of the postings here. Sage Intacct offers stakeholders of the organisation business insights through dashboards and reports. Dashboards can be assigned to users or roles and can show you a number of different things. You can see the statuses of funds at a glance. You can see restricted and unrestricted funds. You can also see that we've got an arrow up here. This means that they have significantly increased from the prior period, the prior year, or to budget. Integration to fundraising systems and donation systems allows you to view how much has been received and also the number of donations. You can see again we've got arrows up, so it's significantly increased from the prior month. Integration to fundraising and donation systems allows views of how much has been received and the number of donations. So you can see here I've got 950 donations, and I can work out the average voluntary income per donation. So we can do calculations, and these could be coming from different systems to allow you to view costs in different categories. So you can see here I'm looking at my expenditure by sort category, so expenditure charitable activities, expenditure fundraising, and expenditure support costs. You can also see the same expenditure but in a different view. So I'm seeing this by a typical P&L hierarchy, so payroll expenses, office costs, costs of sales. Flow of data from grant management applications comes into Intacct and provides you with an up-to-date view and the status of your funding. So I've put this on the dashboard if I want to see the status of my funds and any voluntary income. I can make this a little bit bigger, and then I can view it on full screen. So you can see that these are all of my funds for a particular year. Again, these can be split down by different directives as well, because I can have unlimited parent and child hierarchies here. So I can see that I'm looking at voluntary income, I can see the actual, and I can see it against my budget, and I can see the difference and the variance. I've also got some conditional formatting, which is drawing my attention immediately to the higher variances or the higher numbers. Single click here will drill me down into the general ledger journal to which that relates. Integration into fundraising systems again allows me views of any funds that have been raised and also any costs in raising those funds. So you can see I've had different fundraising events, fundraising event 1, 2, again we have unlimited hierarchies here, and I can see all of the revenue that came in from that event, but I can also see all of my costs. So I've got a surplus and deficit here by individual event, and these can be regional. So you can see a surplus or deficit by each individual fund or event that sits within a fund. For those non-profits who deal with grant giving, Sage Intacct allows you to monitor and report on beneficiary payments and also grant spend. So you can see here I've got a graph which is actually showing me all of the beneficiary payments that have been made in a particular month, and then I'm seeing this by type of payment, whether it's recurring or annual. Single click just allows me to drill down into the detail, and I can see for the month of October that we've got some grant payments, we've got some one-off payments and some recurring payments, so I can drill down into the detail. Single click again just drills down into the individual payments, and I can see that these were the payments that were made. If you are an organisation that provides a service, Sage Intacct can report by service provision and also by service line. So you can see here, this is my dashboards on my schools and care homes. I can see the gross margin. I can also see the number of students or the number of residents, and also the average income that that provides. Obviously I've got a thumbs down because it's less than the prior month. Again, single click here will allow me into those journals that support that revenue number. For my schools and care homes, I can also break down individual service lines, so I can break that income down by fees, rent, meals, sundry, and so on. I can also see my cash balance at a glance, along with my revenue for care homes. Now this can be filtered for all schools and care homes, or it can be filtered just for an individual school, an individual care home, etc. Sage Intacct is a multi-entity shared environment. It allows users to transact in and between legal entities without having to log on or log off. You can see here my organisation, Give a Little Charity. I have the main charity. I've got a grant giving entity. I have a trading entity that maybe provides goods and services. I've also got different directorates that may have partial exemption within it. So users can process a transaction 1 minute for the main charity, and then for the second for the grant giving, and then also maybe a sales invoice for the trading company. How they do that is they go into the function, if for example accounts payable, into the purchase invoices. If we just go into this one here, how we tag that invoice against the entity is via its location. So this might be the main charity, the next invoice might be for the trading company. So it's actually the location that gives it the entity, but it supports a shared service centre approach. The intercompany processing can be done via a intercompany billback, i.e. a sales invoice, creating a purchase invoice in the opposite entity. Of course, the opposite side of that will be the intercompany control accounts, and also it allows you to do journals as well, and they flow seamlessly through to the opposite intercompany debtors and creditors accounts. We also have a full consolidation function which will automatically eliminate those intercompany balances.